Hey everybody, this is Jim at SP500chart.com. It's 4:15 on 5/14/2013. And we're going to take a look at what happened today. Wow. I tell you, we got lots of food for thought here. But before we take a look at the chart using time-honored techniques to try to understand these modern markets, I'm going to read my disclaimer to you. Hey, and I'm going to try to do it in one breath again. Let's see if I can do that. The website and the video are for educational purposes only. Nothing stated at the side or in the video is intended to be used as investment advice. I can draw lines on charts, but you have to draw your own conclusions from your own research and make investment decisions that are suitable for your personal financial situation. I am not a licensed financial professional. I'm just a guy who draws lines on charts. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, when I see a day like today, I'll be honest with you, I feel kind of, at one point, I feel kind of bad because I sure didn't see a 1% rally in the market. At least not, I thought 1650 would be in the picture because we were talking about the depth of this pattern right here, and it could even go up higher. But just amazing that this market is refusing to take much of a breath at all. The only real any pause that the market gave us was when we went from about 1600 down to 1540. And you think about it, that's less than a 4% sell-off. That's not so big. You know, you would think at some point we're due one of those pretty substantial 10-15% haircuts so that the market could really wring out some profits and at the same time bring in some new money. But instead, it's just going on up. Now, I want to show you something that gives me a little bit of concern. With today's move, I have redrawn these little blue lines. They were, if you'll recall, kind of looking like maybe we were in a channel where we just got above that top line a little bit. But if we do this, it almost looks like the S&P is making a kind of a little broadening pattern here. And if you know anything about broadening patterns, if that's what it is, it's because of irrational buying. It's because of people who are just becoming all of a sudden very emotionally involved in chasing. And you don't like to see a move up and then a rise. And I really don't like to see a move up and then more excitement as it goes up more and more, because that looks to me like the climax is coming at the end of this move as opposed to a climactic move, a little pullback, and then a nice path upwards. What's surprising is we are still in this green channel. So the good news is it's not like we've been faked out. It's not like we got a head fake break of this green line down here and everybody got out of the market, and then we wake up the next morning to a 1.5% up day. It's just that we never even came back down to this line. So that is interesting. See, here we are at the bottom of the line, up at the top. Go sideways, tag the bottom of the line, hit the top. And then we don't even get back down here before it looks like the market says, oh yeah, boy howdy. You could tell I grew up in the South. Boy howdy, I heard that. We're going up. And here we are closing the day just barely off the day's highs at 1650 and change. Now there's a couple of things that I think are very interesting from what happened. One thing is, because we are now about 3% over this, what we've been calling our all-time tops line. Just to remind you, let's take a look at it. Here it is right there. Okay? That's that light kind of pinkish line right here. Because we're now above that line by 3%, I think this line becomes more significant in the event, well, I would say when the market comes down to test it. But, I've been calling for, well, I'm not really calling discreetly because, like I said, we don't have a pattern that really tells us to expect a major downturn. But I've been expecting, just on general principle, some form of pullback. And the higher we get up here, the more likely it would be that we would find support at this line. And the reason is because the higher we go, the more significant a sell-off becomes. And I think it's clear now. This line is broken. This market wants to go higher. And how much higher? It's anybody's guess. If I were looking, and don't freak out, but if I were looking at this chart and it was an individual stock, and I was seeing these two dips right here, and we broke this line, I'll be honest with you, I would be on the lookout for an eventual move to about 3,500. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that this is going to happen next week. But what I'm saying is, if this pattern is what it appears to be, and that is this was a sort of a neckline, if you will. What's weird is you don't see very many, quote, I've never even heard the term, a double bottom consolidation. It's just not anything that I'll read up. I'll tell you what, I'll do that assignment before tomorrow. I'll scour the literature I have here and see if I can find something on that. But it goes without saying that the fact that we are now over this line, I think you've got to pay attention to that. I'm still not at all inclined to buy here. I want another one of these, or these before I'm willing to go way long on this market. I'm long. I'm longer now than I was a week ago, but I'm in stocks that really aren't so much coupled to the general markets. They have a tendency to have a life of their own. So that said, we've got the same thing kind of staring us. I want to say this, and I might be wrong, but surely some line is going to serve as resistance. This cannot go up forever. So the next line, that if this little blue line doesn't turn the market down tomorrow, and if it does, then what we need to do is watch this bottom line, and it could be, obviously, watch this green line too. So right now, when we were coming into today, I mentioned in yesterday's video that we had three lines where I was expecting resistance. Well, one of those was this line that was at the time in this position. That line got broken out over. So I'm going to put that here and say maybe this will be resistance. Maybe not. But this red line, one would think would be resistance, and this green line, one would think would be resistance. As far as support goes, well, we've got support here, 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 and here. So where we are in the market right now, every line that is above this 1650 mark seems to represent resistance to me. And every line that is below it, not so much this one, but here and here, here and here, would be support. So once again, it looks like we are closer to resistance than support. I would really urge caution in trying to short this market. Somebody's going to short it. someone's going to short it at the top, and they're going to brag about it and how they had it all figured out. But a bunch of people are going to short it just based on the fact that it's gone higher than what they thought it was going to go. And that would probably not be such a good idea at this point. I would still wait for some of these support lines rather to break down. I would much rather see a broken support line than maybe a pullback, then get involved on the short side of the market. But right now, obviously it ain't working for shorts. So if it's working for you and you're long, I would hang with it. Again, we have a couple lines that would tell us to expect a downturn. We don't have anything again right now in the way of a chart pattern that would tell us how much of a downturn. So all we can do is look to our trend lines. This line, which is our rising channel that's been working for about a month. And then we've got this yellow line that was working for since middle of November, got momentarily broken down in April, but ended up recovering with gave us a little hint there that inverted head and shoulders, and it got back into this pattern. So guys, there's your video. Wow, what a day. And let's just keep watching it. Eventually we will get, I guess, what I would call a macro. Is that a good word to use here? Eventually we will get a macro pattern. And what I mean by that is a pattern where we could look at a chart like this, a daily chart, where each candle is a day, and we can say, here's the pattern that we're now looking for. Just again, to put it in context, when we came off of that October 2011 low, we eventually got an inverted head and shoulders right here that told us we were going up. And then eventually we got a head and shoulders top right here that told us we were coming down. Then we got another inverted head and shoulders, told us we're going up. Another head and shoulders told us we were going down. And ever since, it's just been up without the benefit of any significant pattern to point us along the way. Eventually, that will happen. So I would just say, be patient, hang with it, stick with your chart, what you know about charts. Stick with these videos if you can. And when we get something develop, then I hope that together we can discover that thing and take advantage of it. Hey, thanks for watching. Thank you for your support. And let's see what happens with the rest of this week. It's going to be interesting. Take care.